you have any nemesis? Like in the whole country, there can't be that many people at this level.
Yeah,
you must know a lot of them.
I know a lot of them. I don't have anyone that I'd say, oh, that's my nemesis. There is one guy who's much better than I am, who I consistently beat. I think by luck, not by skill, and he's moved to a different to an international dictionary, so I don't play him much anymore. But
I like that. He's out. He's like, I can't get past this John guy.
No, that's the highest level of Scrabble that he moved on to. So it wasn't related to me, but he was So he was feeling that I somehow his nemesis or whatever. That I would.
Oh, you were his. You feel like you might have been his nemesis,
right? Because I would beat him. Even though I was a lower rated player, I would beat him the majority of the time. So it's
I would imagine he comes and looks at the draw and sees your name there, and comes to the table and he's like, "Oh,
yeah," and he plays well, and it just things happen. So yeah.
What's the demographics?
It's tending older now. Although we're getting young people into it, but in the expert division, it's mostly male, probably average age 50 to 60.
Should be, yeah.
The best players are probably 30 to 40 though, and then as you get to the lower division, it's much more women who are treating it more as a social activity.
They're good. They're good at the words. They got the dictionaries.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And someone figured out something where the difference was the women weren't as willing to spend the time learning all the words.
Huh.
So it's so they enjoyed the game, but don't want to do the amount of work that would take to know 95% of the words in the dictionary.
Also that killer, sometimes that killer instinct,
Mm-hmm.
Because it's got to be pretty strenuous. I mean, like it's got to be some pressure going on. I would imagine it does. Some of those tables when you get to the expert division and you're sitting down. That's
and by the way, I'd say there's a big difference in demeanor among players. So if you can keep calm through it, which I'm pretty good at, that helps. And others, if things don't go their way, will start melting down some, and they worse when they start. So it doesn't do any good. You got to just say, you got to focus. It's like the when the sports guys say one game at a time. It's sort of it's even what is the best play on this rack right now, and that's your only question. And you spend time on that, and then you and don't get wound up in but I'm so unlucky, or I'm whatever. It's
there are so many studies when you look at the brain and brain activity. When you get out of congruence, right? When your heart and your breath and your mind fall out of balance, your brain, if you take a brain scan of people in that moment where they're unhappy with the draw or unhappy with what they've got on the slate, your brain's misfiring.
Yep.
And this is I've been studying in this pursuit of flourishing life now that I'm kind of living, and it's understanding a lot about about gratitude, and how to bring that to the workplace, how to help people in those moments. So whether it's at a Scrabble table or it's at the boardroom or it's in front of a client, it is about appreciating the moment, appreciating the opportunity you've got, and that allows you to think more clearly.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's right.
I had an interview yesterday, conversation. I'm hoping to do it's director work for a small community center. But it is a bit of, as I say, it's not charity work because they're going to pay me, but still it was an interview with the board and, some of the people who would report to you and, people you kind of report to the board as a executive director. And I found, boy, I hadn't had an interview in, I don't know, 100 years. And,
Sure, I haven't either.
yeah, exactly. I mean, imagine tomorrow, right? You're going to interview for a role, and I found myself kind of going, oh, my heart rate's a little. Check my watch, my heart rate's a little elevated, and I thought, well, that is just goofy. I'm not. It's not like a live and die kind of a thing, and I'm doing this for fun, but also for doing doing good and doing a little bit of work, and but getting my head and my heart aligned, kind of getting the breath work back. And I was like, all right, I'm back to kind of a more I'm closer to flourishing than I was 5 minutes. I was fluttering a couple of minutes ago. Now I'm back to closer to flourishing.
All right.
All right, let's find you one more closer. And
okay.
then, we might well be at the end, pretty close.